Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show presents the SmackDown Report. We're coming a little bit late, but hey, we're going to cover SmackDown the way you want to be covered for Pro Wrestling Matters and SmackDown for its Ring Report. Coming up on the SmackDown Ring Report, we have this right here. As you see, Edge teaming up with the Mysterio, who's returning back to take down Roman and his family, the Uso brothers. Yes, you see Edge applying that same thing that Edge did late last week. If you recall, he did the Jimmy once again. Jimmy applying the pressure on the steel chair ledge. And Jimmy trying to beg for Roman's help. Hopefully, Roman Reigns come and help save his cousin Jimmy? Well, only thing we only have to find out. Plus, plus we'll have a new tag team emerges. As you see right here, Sasha Blackheart and Tegan Knox merges from out of nowhere. Didn't see that coming. And implications on Bayley as Bayley says she's been injured and now Bayley must forfeit her championship match against Bianca Belair, which they were supposed to have the I Quit match at Money in the Bank. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. But we'll give you the details on who's Bianca Belair's opponent for next week on SmackDown that you didn't see coming. No, I didn't. I kind of knew, but it was kind of like already been predicted. All this and more on the Pro Wrestling Show presents the SmackDown Report. It starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special live edition of the Pro Wrestling Show here on this Saturday. We're coming to the heels off of SmackDown, but we're here. But like I said, first thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe, Miss Karen. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, and leave comments. What you think, what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. Just let us know. So, like I said, this is the Pro Wrestling Show presents the SmackDown Ring Report. Let's get down to it. Let's get down on what had happened on SmackDown as the head of the table, Roman Reigns, started the show. Roman Reigns, who knows that he will go one-on-one against Edge at Money in the Bank for the Universal Championship. Edge, that's what he really wanted. He wanted a one-on-one match, but he will get that one-on-one match at Money in the Bank. Just him and Roman for the Universal title. But Roman kind of run down Edge, run down that he's been the only person holding this on the Thunderdome down, and now they're gonna come to an end. And Roman kind of questioned his cousin Jimmy on his motives, what Jimmy motives is. Jimmy came out there trying to explain his motive that he's with Roman no matter what. Roman trying to kind of confused, like, are you with me? Are you against me? What's the master plan? Well, all of a sudden, Jay Uso came out there. Jay Uso trying to rectify the family bond, trying to say they're a united front rather than a divided front. And Roman and Jimmy was kind of reluctant, and they gave each other a hug and squashed their beef. You see Paul Heyman in the background. So they're united for right now. Well, let's hope for now. We'll tell you later on what had happened down there. Also, too, King Corbin falling on bad luck again. Well, the King Corbin has an opportunity to go to Money in the Bank. I think he has won Money in the Bank before. Yeah, he has won Money in the Bank. Um, he gonna makes his fortunes after he's been having a series of misfortunes. Where he goes one-on-one again against King Nakamura. Well, like I said, it was a real competitive match. Nakamura trying to go to Money Bank himself, the King Corbin. And then my question is, what's all these about these rematches? Each week, every week is a rematch. But King Corbin kind of during the end of days, trying to put Nakamura to an end, but all of a sudden Nakamura finds a way and counters it and defeats King Corbin which is Shiskaska. So King Corbin down on his luck. He doesn't feel like himself. King Corbin feels like a shell of himself because he couldn't get the job done after Shinsuke Nakamura won the King of the Ring crown. And now King Corbin does not have that crown no more to profess himself as the king of the WWE. Speaking of that, was tag team action, women's tag team action. Natalia and Tamina came out there issuing open challenge. All of a sudden, Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart accepted the challenge, and they went against the women's tag team champions and a competitive matchup. So all of a sudden, as you see right here, we saw Tegan Knox and Shotzi on NXT not too long ago, and now, they defeat Shotzi, pin Natalia to get herself a chance. So they debut on SmackDown and they pin the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Knox are on a roll, and on a roll indeed, and many people didn't see coming. So look forward for a rematch down the road with fans, as they like to say, with the fans in attendance. Also, too, WWE official Sonya Deville was out there. She was trying to make an announcement regarding with the situation going on with Bayley. Many of you may know that Bayley will be out for 9 months. Bayley suffered an injury while training, and she will be out for 9 months. So thus there will be no third final complete match that Bayley was supposed to schedule to compete in at Money in the Bank against Bianca Belair in an I Quit match. Now that match has been voided since of Bayley's injury. We'll get to the latest on what's going on with Bayley, a little bit more update on what's going on. Well, Sonya Deville didn't waste no time whatsoever, and she chose Carmella to replace Bayley in her match. So Carmella will go one-on-one against Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's title at 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 the first live show when they're back on the road in Houston. Well, Liv Morgan took issue with that, and Liv Morgan said that she wanted to be in a championship match. She wanted to be in Money in the Bank or something. She wanted to be in the mix or something. So Sonya Deville told like, "You are in the Money in the Bank. You will replace Carmella," and that's all she wanted to know. So congratulations to Liv Morgan. She's in. Well, Sasha Banks. Now Sasha Banks. Oh, I'm thinking about Bianca Belair, the SmackDown Women's Champion, came out there and said she looks forward to fighting Carmella next week on SmackDown while they're back on the road in Houston. So this will be the first title defense with Bianca Belair on the road with a lot of people. And you see right here a lot of tension going on between Sonya Deville and Liv Morgan. Got to wonder what's going on with that. So all this and more, and all the motions and stuff. So we'll see how this all gonna play out. I believe that they're gonna have a match in Houston, and Carmella's gonna lose, and then they're gonna set up another rematch at the pay per view. So I just think they should just have that pay per view and be done with it. But they had to make it like something special, like a tile match. So Carmella, who calls herself the most beautiful woman in WWE, which she might indeed be the most beautiful woman in WWE, will get her shot at the SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair next week when SmackDown turns on the road to Houston. So look for that. Speaking of another rematch, Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. They renew their rivalry. Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins wants to end it and calls Cesario. Well, we know that these two have bad blood between each other. They can't stand each other. And you see Cesaro and Seth Rollins battling out which one of these two men will head the Money in the Bank as a participant representing SmackDown. Well, you see Cesaro with the uppercuts, and then Cesaro with that airplane spin. And then Cesaro turns around, swings Seth Rollins like the big giant swing, and then places Seth Rollins into the sharpshooter, trying to make Seth tap. Seth Rollins didn't tap. Seth Rollins kept his balance, and Seth Rollins cheated to beat Cesaro. So Seth Rollins adds on to the Money in the Bank ladder match, where Seth Rollins gets an opportunity to win it again like he did last time a couple of years ago. Also, too, the Radar superstar Edge returned. Edge had said that he wants his hands on Roman some way, some form, somehow. He wants his hands on Roman real bad. He wants to do the same way he did to Roman to his cousin last week. Well, Roman tried to come out there to his cousin, started intervening and said, "Hey, no, we got this. We with you." So Roman about to go out there and do it with Edge until all of a sudden the Usos came out there. And the Usos getting attacked by returning SmackDown Tag Team Champions Ray and Dominic Mysterio, who helped Edge, who came along with Edge, didn't let Edge come along empty-handed. The tag team champions took the Usos, swinging them with chair shots. The Usos trying to counteract with super kicks. You see, Jimmy with a super kick to his own, to Dominic. Edge trying to take the ground game to the Universal Champion Roman, trying to drop him. You see the Mysterios as well doing the double 619. Dominic doing it on the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, as Ray heavily leading the charge. I mean, the Mysterios came out of nowhere, didn't see that coming, but Ray and Dominic are back after being attacked by the brutal hands of Roman Reigns a couple weeks ago. The Roman had did that on the Universal Champion at Hell in a Cell match a couple weeks ago. And you see Edge delivering the spear to Jimmy, to Jay, I meant Jay, and then delivering that chair thing and trying to take Edge trying to choke out Jimmy with that chair leg, trying to make him pass out, and doing the same again to brother Jimmy like he did last week. I mean, this is barbaric. This is demoralizing for Jay and Jimmy. And I know Jimmy has his own problems. We'll talk about that on Hot Topics. Jimmy and Jay being decimated by Edge, who wants a piece of Roman Reigns at the worst way. And he might get that opportunity next week on SmackDown if he gets closer to the pay-per-view. Roman Reigns doesn't do nothing about it. So let's just hope Roman Reigns could regroup along with his cousins, the Usos, and try to see how they can combat Edge, because Edge is unhinged, and I mean Edge is loose, and he's ready to, like I said, he's ready to win that Universal Championship at any means necessary. So we'll see on that. All right, that ends the SmackDown Ring report. All right, let's move quickly. Let's move over. Let's move over to Hot Topics. On Hot Topics. On Hot Topics. A lot of wrestling news going on. So let's get to the latest on what's going on with wrestling. All right. Now we know Daniel Bryan said that there's been reports that Daniel Bryan, they haven't been mentioning his name. They've been mentioning his name a little bit, but is Daniel Bryan coming back? For right now, we're uncertain, but Daniel Bryan should be making a return soon. We haven't seen Daniel Bryan ever since he lost the Loser League Town match against Roman Reigns for the Universal title. So there was also reports Daniel Bryan was in negotiations with WWE to go New Japan, wrestle around the world. We haven't got a lot on that coverage right now, so we'll see. Speaking of that, Malachi Black, well, Tommy End, you know him as known as Aleister Black. He had debuted in AEW this past week, attacking Arn Anderson and Cody Rhodes with his own sick pleasure. But there you go. But Malachi Black making some noise. I saw him in AEW. I said, "What in the world? What is he doing here?" And lo and behold, he attacked Cody Rhodes and Arn Anderson, sending a message. So Cody's next feud will be up against Malachi Black, and look for that happening at All Out in Chicago. Also, Paul Heyman, the inspirational leader for Roman Reigns and the Usos, the advisor. Well, he's no longer a part of Talking Smack. There's been a directive order going on for Heyman. Heyman was a fixture on Talking Smack, but now Paul Heyman will not be on Talking Smack. So he's been replaced by SmackDown color commentator Pat McAfee going forward. So Paul Heyman no longer part of the Talking Smack program on Peacock. That's weird. Also, too, Brandon Thurston, the Wrestlenomics fame, said that some of the rematches that we've been seeing on WWE, and here's a percentages of the rematches that you see Raw and SmackDown. AEW has not, it's at the lowest, which that makes good for them because they don't do rematches, and that's a great thing. Hopefully, WWE, when they get back on the road, switch it up, shuffle things up around, and make it seem more competitive, not no stale retread. Also, we talked about too Bailey. WWE broke the news that Bailey has suffered an injury while training and should be out for 9 months. Well, like I said, Bailey, a superstar through and through, she'll get through it and she'll kind of, just be her break. So Bailey will return stronger, better than ever before, as she did before. She did carry that women's division through the pandemic era and more commended for her. Also, too, the Young Bucks heard about the WWE list about the greatest tag teams. You know they ain't gonna be part of the greatest tag teams. To me, they are the greatest tag team. The Young Bucks are the greatest tag team put together. But the Young Bucks had made fun of the New Day since they was deemed the WWE's greatest tag team. So the New Day, Big E, kind of acknowledged that many may disagree with this list, many might not. But they said they had to do and did the best they can to become the New Day. And the New Day are a good team, but they're just a stereotype team in a way. So New Day. But I like the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks are more like the Rock and Roll Express of this generation. You remember Ricky Morty and Robert Gibson are many people think the New Day is the modern day version of the Freebirds. So it is what it is. You can agree or disagree. Depends on how you take it. So speaking of that, this week, a fan decides to jump the guardrail, and he got attacked by Chris Jericho, the ring announcer, and a lot of AEW security guard. This nincompoop, not Chris Jericho, not Chris Jericho. We ain't gonna bash Chris Jericho. Um, where is that tweet? Well, we see Jericho Cornette made tweet about it. So this fan decided to go through the rail. Yeah, there you go. So this fan right here, if you see right here, this tweet, and I'm gonna read it as I quote: Jim Cornette and Brian Last, how did you like my AEW debut? I did this for all of us real wrestling fans who are no longer a safe place for friends to dance around, play dress up, reality, and think they hit, and let it be for fucking playtime forever. So this fan wrote to Jim Cornette. He tagged Jim Cornette on Twitter. He tagged Brian Last, and Jim Cornette and Brian Last host that popular show on Cornette's some YouTube or whatever you get your wherever you get Jim Cornette here. But they host the show, and Jim Cornette took issue with it and said, "Hey man, you don't speak for me. You don't speak for me." And this is what Cornette wrote right here. Cornette wrote this lengthy message saying this fan just took upon himself and he didn't condone that. And the fan kind of looking like, well, you kind of did, Jim Cornette, in a way. So Jim Cornette trying to get himself away from this fan, distance himself. I don't know Brian Last neither. Distance himself from the fan too. And what this fan did, this fan jumped the barricade and tried to make showboat. And then Chris Jericho wrote this saying that do you really think Jim Cornette would condone? So they both had something to agree on, and on a long scale. Which I mean, this is bizarre to me. Jim Cornette didn't like what the fan did, but he's I don't know. This is just really crazy. But Jim Cornette trying to say, hey, I don't condone what you did, but you did it anyway. and unblocked you. So fan got blocked for his hideous act. So you know how they go. Even too, Kenny Omega chimed in and talked about Jim Cornette needing to take responsibility for what he say, his actions. Jim Cornette ain't gonna say nothing at this time in his life. Jim Cornette, but we're waiting to hear what Jim Cornette's going to say on his podcast this week. So look for that. Also, too, the main event. They talked about Dame Meltzer saying that it could be possible John Cena might return versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam if it's locked. So it could be a possibility. We just have to wait and see and find out. You know, Cena and Reigns, that is a marquee match for SummerSlam. The main event could be, but you know, like I said, who knows? With Cena and them, Cena passing torch to Roman. Roman already got the torch, but he just need that legitimately more torch than the one before. So look for that. Also, too, um, Brian Pillman Jr. He's no longer with MLW no more. He's going to be with AEW all the way. So Brian Pillman Jr. finishing his commitments with MLW, and now he's full time with AEW. So knew that was coming. You know how that go. I don't know why that. Also, too, Tony Storm might be coming along with Tegan Knox and Sasha Blackheart. Tony Storm coming along, make her debut. She'll be debuting on the SmackDown brand. They did vignettes on her, so look for that coming soon. Tony Storm, who will be coming sooner, and she has a nice, you know what, round, but baby got back. But Tony Storm is coming. She's coming. Revenge, she's a good women's wrestler. She's a former NXT UK champion. Tony Storm making a storm, about to storm her way into SmackDown very soon. Also, too, you see right here, I don't know what that was about Big E and Pat McAfee getting pedicures. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but to each his own. It's their business. So, know how they go. Weird, weird, weird. Okay. Don't know why they was there. They were trying to do a spot, 7th spot. Also, too, we could be closer than we think. The anticipated Edge versus Seth Rollins. Could this potentially happen at SummerSlam? This could be one of the premium matches at SummerSlam. Edge versus Seth Rollins. As you recall, if you remember, a couple of years ago, when Seth Rollins was Mr. Money in the Bank, Edge wasn't wrestling. He was inactive. Seth Rollins tried to attack Edge, tried to break Edge's neck. And Edge probably ain't forgot about that. Hopefully they don't forget about that in their storyline when they do it at SummerSlam. And maybe Edge could cost Seth Rollins his opportunity of becoming Mr. Money in the Bank. And it's a possibility on what could happen. And you see the crowd feel is growing. You see Drew, you see Seth, you see Nakamura, you see Kevin Owens, Big E, Riddle, Ricochet, and John Morrison. This is going to be a star-studded Money in the Bank. And the possibilities are endless. And we'll tell you next week who I believe who's going to leave Money in the Bank with the briefcase in their hand to earn themselves a future world championship match going forward. But I can see Edge and Seth Rollins tear the roof off the place at SummerSlam in that Allegiant Stadium. I promise you that they're gonna do it. They're gonna fight to the finish. All right. What a amazing pro wrestling show we had this week for the SmackDown Ring Report, for the last SmackDown Ring Report inside the WWE Thunderdome. The Thunderdome is no longer no more. Next week, WWE SmackDown heads back on the road along with Money in the Bank. But the Thunderdome continues on with Raw as the final Thunderdome show. So we'll see that. So for me being Kendra Dix, saying so long, we'll see you next week for another edition of Pro Wrestling Show. See you later.